What? Abby and Alana got married to each other? That's what happened in the last episode of Broad City. Just kidding, that's the fake last episode of Broad City. Welcome to the news, welcome to the news, welcome to the news. Yeah! Broad City is an interesting little concept of a show because it's like a little weird comedy that has to do with NYC and people running around the city and doing crazy things, but all at the same time drawing little bits of ideations and conceptualizations of what the city is all about and how it flows and how it runs and how it operates and the nuances and the peculiarities and the interesting subtleties of NYC, the town. Dun 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 dun. Yeah. Broad City is a peculiar show. It is a comedy-based show, and it is fun to watch on occasion. And I have a little sticker on the back of my phone that says Chip City, which is a cookie shop in this town. And so it was just kind of a reminder as well. And all these things, which are crazy and warped out in that show, are kind of a depiction of what this podcast is trying to be, regardless, and such things. But it's in like its own little paradigm situation, and nonetheless, we are all just trying to garner our audiences in our own little funky ways. Yeah, and also making a show like that seems like it would be a lot of fun, and having the ability to put together the elements to be able to make a lot of funky, weird items come together in real life to be able to film them on camera. Sounds like it might be a bit of fun in that comedy perspective type of sense. And what we are trying to focus on as Dinky Tehc and Change for Games Studios is kind of like trying to change the world with games and develop games, and also trying to focus on like one specific game in essence to be able to try to kick things off, in essence like one giant flash mob for the whole world to be able to try to play in that game, and on the front end of that be able to try to make it into like a company on the front end. And in like 2 or 3 episodes ago, I talked about making a Taylor Swift company to be able to try to set off Dinky Tehc as the DJ, as the brand, as the DJ, and having the Taylor Swift type of brand, type of mimic, type of model, type of brand situation stack up and be next to Dinky Tehc and try to be the strategy building entity to be able to try to promote Dinky Tehc, to be able to make Dinky Tehc a successful DJ who is then therefore the mascot, who then therefore draws attention in terms of DJing status, to be able to bring awareness to the pipelines of energy into change for games, and games for change, and changing for games, and games for change. And one of the specific games that we want to make for the world is similar to Quidditch like in the Harry Potter movies, because a lot of times we reference Harry Potter and wizardry to be able to try to develop games for change. We're talking about a vehicle, making a vehicle that is like a broomstick vehicle, basically like a broomstick vehicle, like basically. It's something I developed like many shows back. I talked about making it into a broomstick. It's like a stick, basically, that is like has shocks, and it's like 2 wheels, and it's just the most minimal vehicle that's like an alpine slide. It's like an alpine slide, but it has 2 wheels. So that therefore becomes like a broomstick, because it's just like the basic necessity of a stick. Literally is all you could need to be able to put it together. And at the same time, it's like Quidditch, because Quidditch, people would ride broomsticks and such things. And at the same time, what we're trying to do is combine that with the essence of Harry Potter, and at the same time, which is very much anyway beyond that, is combining that with like the Olympics, and then also combining that with like the essence of the game of business in the whole world. And so therefore we're trying to combine all these things together so that the game of business transitions into that specific type of mindset of that type of model, to be able to play the game of Quidditch for everybody in the world, to be able to go outside and play that game of Quidditch by us developing that vehicle in essence. And therefore the mindset that's connected to that is in essence the ability to be able to play one single specific particular game, to be able to initiate the whole world together, to be able to try to unify on this one specific game, and then everybody break out into their own different little specific games to be able to try to change the world through games beyond that, and then also collaborate online in a media platform that we hope to develop and also garner as a home space, or hopefully a space to be able to develop and hone in on this specific type of mindset for the whole world to be able to share in. And it's also like an ice rink in the sky, and it also garners the most philanthropy energy that is possible in the world. That's the whole purpose of Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios. So, but the thing about that vehicle, that little spread stick witch broom vehicle situation, is that is like parallel to that Taylor Swift company, in that if we can adopt that whole situation, like where like the manufacturing can occur to be able to spread that broomstick and the broomstick scooter and the game out to the world, that in essence that would be like aligned with the Taylor Swift company, because it would serve the same purpose as the Taylor Swift company, and it would therefore promote the DJ, because the DJ made the stick, and therefore he's DJing from outside, from inside the vehicle, from while always traveling around promoting the vehicles, and therefore the DJ and the merger of the Taylor Swift company and the stick, the spread stick, which is the witchcraft stick, which is the a witch stick, basically like they ride in the Quidditch game in Harry Potter, is all encompassing, all in one, and it becomes all is so therefore the stick, the vehicle that we've been talking about making for the last couple of days also becomes the Taylor Swift vehicle in that respect. Just clarifying. And at the same time it's also yes it's the same vehicle I was talking about the last couple of days, which has to do with basically adding a hovercraft to this hovercraft mechanisms to the bottom of this, and this is the same vehicle, by the way, but it's just those mechanisms are being added bit by bit, day by day, piece by piece, so that there's like kind of a hedge situation where like the wheels have the ability to lift off the ground at any given time, and the hope is to have like airbags of some kind so that it's able to float, so it's actually able to float and ride in the sky like a little boat in the sky, like a mini floating in the boat in the sky, because then if necessary, if it doesn't float, if it goes back down to earth, then it can continue to use the wheels. But then if it has the momentum and such things and the wheels, so that the energy is consistently trading places in this way, so that it constantly can go back up into the air, it can go back up into the air, and then it can go back down to the ground and use the wheels, and there's an engine on the back with a propeller to fill the airbag at the same time, but then there's also a battery to push the wheels to be able to get it to go forward on the wheels. So nonetheless, it's going to go forward, but we want it to float at the same time, and obviously I have a disclaimer to not ride it around if it's too windy outside, so that there's hopefully never something where a wind gust can cause anything negative or derogatory to happen. But anyways, because we want to have little wings on it at the same time. Anyways, transitioning from that situation, we again wanted to what was the next aspect? We were talking about energy, documenting, talking about energy and philanthropy, energy, but different energies, talking about different energies around the world that in essence are able to be like $500 million energies, $100 million energies, $400,000 energies, those type of energies, to be able to track them and be able to not like report on them, but like try to make little either trading bots and or little conceptual nuggets of stories, narratives that equal and equate to like $100 million or $500 million energies, for example, by just having quantifications of certain items to be able to try to quantify the numbers based on past references, and like try to report little bits of statistics on past numbers and past quantifications, like we have. Yeah, just like in terms of listening to a couple other podcasts recently, like there's an MIT hedge fund guy, and he's like, just the way that he quantifies and puts together value, I want to try to parallel that within the podcast a little bit and project that those $500 million, $100 million energies, and put those onto plates, conceptual plates, and serve them in the podcast in essence. Oh yeah, there's a connection between the witchcraft games and the Broad City show, though. That's what I was thinking, is that there's like you've got the witchcraft show, you've got the witchcraft games, I mean the Harry Potter Quidditch and Broad City and such things, because there's the uniqueness of NYC, and NYC has a lot of witchcraftery within it, and with those two things in mind, that's the mention and the thought with the witchcraft. With the broomstick game. The broomstick game is obviously, it's not just related to Harry Potter, but it's also kind of related to witchcraft, and that therefore also translates to the show of Broad City, because they're like kind of witches, the two characters in of themselves, which is a joke. They're comedians, but there's just witchcraftery in the city, and that's how it connects to the game, because and the origin of the game as well for the Change for Games first game, because NYC has witchcraftery in it, and that's also related to Broad City or whatever, but that's also hopefully the origin for Dinky Tehc and Change for Games Studios, which is the origin place for Dinky Tehc and Change for Games Studios was in the same was in the city in NYC. So that therefore translates it into the Harry Potter. It translates into witchcraftery, and it translates into the world as the first game. The hopeful first game for the world to be playing as like a flash mob, to be able to all do philanthropy energy and do giving as part of the marketing for that original stick. The broomstick is for everybody to be doing giving goals and working towards the global giving goals for the United Nations, I guess. And that therefore is promoting the Dinky Tehc DJ brand, because the DJ is well in using the stick to promote the stick, the spread stick, which is the little electric scooter broomstick. Use it. So the DJ's doing that to promote the DJ brand, and then therefore promoting the DJ brand. But at the same time, it's like, so that's how it's like the merger of the Taylor Swift brand. At the same time as selling the electric scooter stick, that also has the ability to like fly and such, which like literally with like a hovercraft, little airbag underneath it and a fan on the back. That is the same vehicle that we've been talking about, and so we just all are cumulatively trying to promote the DJ situation at the same time, but like reference Broad City because it all has to do with comedy and witchcraftery and Harry Potter wizardry all at the same time, to be able to activate and try and actually activate the Change for Game Studios brand, which is ambitious to try to spawn the whole globe so everybody can play on the broomstick game. Also originating, but it's just with the origin of the sauce from NYC. That's the bottom line, I guess you could say. But that, to try to translate that to the whole world for this initial game, for everybody, as many people as possible, 444 million people, to be able to play it together, to try to spin the world into a new mind frame for philanthropy energy to span the whole world. And these are the $100 million and $500 million energies that I'm referring to. In fact, these are games. These are games to be able to quantify. These are games to be able to be quantified into new energies that are $100 million, $400,000, $500 million energies based on past businesses that have happened, and reforming those businesses into new businesses that are games for change. Basically, so they entail in a similar way giving, and philanthropy energy. And so transitioning from that by having some brand connections to the mind. So like everybody in the world having a transformer suit, everybody becoming entrepreneurs at the same time, everybody becoming entrepreneurs by using their transformer suit, because everybody has a transformer suit. It's acknowledging that they all have a transformer suit to begin with, because the primary purpose is that when you acknowledge the transformer suit, that everybody has the ability to be an entrepreneur, that you either learn or you earn money. You learn or you earn money. And so there's no loss by acknowledging the transformer suit. It's a transformer suit that is only asset based, because you either learn or you earn. So it's a constant gain just by acknowledging the mindset to begin with. Accessing the entrepreneurship mindset to begin with either causes learning or earning, and those are both assets. So no matter what, there is a win-win situation with this process, and this is the process for Change for Game Studios, in essence, taking off more so by people just acknowledging this and acknowledging it around the whole world, to be able to help the whole world collectively, helping the whole world collectively. And by doing that, everyone's acknowledging their transformer suit, because that gives everybody dual assets in the game of business. The game of business, not the life business game as it is today, because there's a lot of perceived loss in that game necessarily, but realistically that's a different context in that respect. But in the reality of today's game as well, regardless, where there's market demand, then people can follow and people can buy supply. So therefore, if anybody has the ability to want to try, and they do try, and they access their transformer suit to try entrepreneurship, that there is no loss. That with this mindset, there is just no loss. It is that mentality. It is the Dinky Tehc mentality of there is no loss. Once you have some kind of a house, you have some kind of a thing to be able to etch out your day-to-day life already. You've already got something to be able to pay for your things. Basically, when you access then the transformer suit, there is no loss. You can only try to earn more money, or you can try to learn more and then fail by trying to earn more money and then learn and then learn and then learn and then learn. So it's constantly a building of positivity. There is absolutely no ability to lose with that mindset in mind, and being able to actually access and practice that mindset in a simplified way. And that's what Change for Game Studios is all about, is everybody in the world, 8 billion people, all have transformer suits in the closets that are all charging within the Change for Game Studios platform. That is also an online digital platform, that is also aka the Global Giving Games Philanthropy Energy ice rink that's in the sky, which is a symbol and symbology that's been used many times within the past podcasts and such things. So moving on. And so everybody's entrepreneurship transformer suits is connected to plates, and plates are opportunity that they can stick to themselves and continue to build a portfolio of conceptual mental assets with all these plates by acknowledging opportunity. And something that's interesting for Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios that we might like to try to have is like a jewelry skate shop, where in the last episode we talked about making a vlog with toys and making jewelry for the toys. We might actually have like a skate shop that's probably online, like metaverse style skate shop, but basically with like more so jewelry, more so focus on jewelry, but also the toys, and also the jewelry can be accessories for the toys, but just like a jewelry skate shop would be quite nice. We're still trying to get that going. In line with 3D printing methodologies. So pre-selling. And another thing, the next thing down the line is rollerblades, to be able to try to invent some rollerblades that basically are like stair-stepping machines, like basically stair-step machines, when you go to the gym and you do stair-step machines, but these are little riggers on the side of two rollerblades, so you have 2 feet on each of them, and every time you take a step, there's a power that generates into the battery on 2 separate batteries on each side of the rollerblades. Those are just like power rollerblades. That's today's little product of today's powered rollerblades with 2 separate batteries on each foot, basically, and it goes up and down like the Stairmaster, up and down. So there's a little rigger, and it kind of comes up and down every time you take a step, and you can either clinch that in place so you don't have to have that come up and down, or you can leave it out. So every time that you take a step, it pushes down and it generates electricity into the battery of the boot. And you have 2 triggers. You have 2 little triggers. So you have a right foot and a left foot, and you have like an electric skateboard. You have a trigger to be able to propel the skateboard forward like a wireless trigger, but you have 2 for the rollerblades because you have 2 feet. So if your left leg gets a little bit low on battery, then your right leg can drive for the most part, which is kind of a joke because we want it to be like for the most part even battery connection. But nonetheless, that can happen, because why not? Let the right foot lead, let the left foot lead. You got to balance it out. You got to play it a little bit like freestyle in that way. Yeah, that's fun and funky. We want to like introduce those rollerblades. I don't know what the name is, but we'll just add them onto maybe just the logo for this little episode. Nonetheless, next thing down the line, the next item up for consideration is Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan, he's like a gypsy. He's like a gypsy even in his old age. He's like a gypsy. He's still like a gypsy. He hasn't done a lot of interviews in time. But that's a lot like Dinky Tehc. I think the Bob Dylan style is a lot like Dinky Tehc. He roams around. He uses outside. He uses nature. He breathes into nature. Nature breathes into him, and that's been a long part of his long career in essence. So that's the Dinky Tehc style. We're trying to just mob around and just be like very similar to like being a part of nature, being a part of the roots of nature, and just always just connecting with the outside marketplace and space of mentality and energy. Yeah. And so also now it's talking about value within money. Value is the accumulation. It's value accumulation. It's not money accumulation. You're not trying to accumulate money. You're trying to accumulate value. When you accumulate value, then you accumulate money by proxy. When you accumulate value, when you stack value, you stack energy, value. You stack energy, value, then you get money. That's what money is. That's what monetary energy is. That's how you get real money, is you stack value. And that's what the $500 billion energies had to do with. That's what the $100 million energies had to do with that I was talking about earlier in the podcast. That's what $400,000 energies have to do with, is just conceptual energy, value. If you can just sell $400,000 or $100 million energy packages, those are value. It's just value packages. It's just demand that equals a certain price based on packaging that value into energy packaging, and value stacking to accelerate and accumulate value, and that in turn, and as a result, and as a by proxy, accumulates money by accumulating value. It's like you're selling value, and then by accident you trade it for money, and you're like, oh, it's money. What do you know? And that's sort of the game. That's sort of the game after all. But on the flip side of that, is that I've heard a saying before. I'm not a religious necessarily person, even though I preach about spiritual finance. It's not directly related to a specific religion, but I've heard someone say before that it is God, that money is God's money, that monetary energy therefore is God's money. monetary energy, therefore, is God's money. It's God's money. And what that means to me, what that means to everybody, what that's supposed to mean necessarily, which sounds like it rings pretty true to me, it sounds like it rings true to what a lot of the main religious books, is that it's money is for everybody. Money is for all people. Money is for all people, meaning everybody in the world. If it's God's money in theory, that means it's all people's money. Everybody's money is everybody's money. So therefore, it should be distributed in the same way. Monetary energy should be distributed so every human can eat. Every human has the ability to have human processes and tools to be able to be given to them. It's that simple. It's just that simple. There's so many places in the world that are so deprived this day and age. And that's the bottom line, is that if it's God's money, every person should be having it. Every person should be grazed by it. There should be no reason, even though that's the way in the structure for incentivization for people to get money and such things, but that's still toxic because so many people go without food, they go without water, they go without simple resources around the whole world still today in 2025, even though it seems like that should have been outdated 2 years ago, it's not. And hopefully AI is going to cover a lot of those tracks because that's just what AI has kind of been doing, is solving a lot of issues. And everyone's like, oh, wait, I'm going to lose my job. And it's like, well, if it solves the world's problems, who gives a shit about your dumbass job, idiot? And by that, I just mean, like, if the world's problems can be solved and people can eat food and have water around the whole world, like 8 billion of them, that's miraculous. Has nothing to do with people in rich first world countries who lose their salaries and such things. It has to do with solving problems. That's the whole purpose of business as a whole to begin with and such things. So that's an ideal thing. If people can get resources and God's money can somehow distribute and somehow like transition so that people of the whole entire world can actually benefit from something that's called monetary energy, if monetary energy is intended by, in quotes, for all people to have because it's made, by the creator, by the person known as God, who therefore intends for all people to be under his well-being blanket, in essence. So that's the whole hope here, is that's kind of that conceptualization is able to be spread and distributed more wealthfully and equitably to all people in the whole entire world. 45% of the world's wealth, in essence, is held by the top 1 and 2% of people, which is absurd. It's absurd when there's people that just don't have enough things around the whole world, and it's just like cool to be million and billionaires, even though what the hell for? What do people need even money for? It's really, really, really sad, after all, in a peculiar sense, when it's simple to just give, and not even give like just specific people to be taxed, but like everyone circulate giving in a rapid flash mob fashion, like we're talking about doing right now, like using little spread stick, little electric scooter sticks that are like broomsticks, that are symbols for broomsticks, that are symbols for like the Quidditch game in Harry Potter, that are symbols for like New York City and witchcraftery, because that's the kind of a weird center place for that needs to span around the whole world, because that has to do with Harry Potter and witchcraftery writing and the nature of games spreading around the whole world, and us trying to activate this whole activization and activizationness and activization status, because that's the purpose of this podcast, and that's how we want to try to get the fire to be able to spread, in essence, in terms of green fire among the whole world, so that everybody can help everybody else out across all borders every single day, no matter what, all the time. Doesn't matter which country, doesn't matter which place. It's so that God's energy mindset can travel, and all of the monetary energy and all can be equitably spread to all humans across the world. Yes. My voice is not punk enough at all right now. Anyways, we're just trying to, also transition this somewhat into, like I said yesterday, like a podcast, blogcast, I'm going to maybe call it a blogcast from now on, because we need to push more stuff onto the blog, more stuff onto a blog, more stuff onto a blog, because we want just more fruitfulness, more fruitiness, more depth, in essence, more reporting, more video references, things of this nature that has to do with just lush mindsets, for like asset mindsets, that has to do with just like kind of a new world hopeful mindset of hopefully the world transitioning into a lush garden for everybody to be able to eat from. After all, And we'll kind of end it with the thought that basically collaboration is as simple as connecting. Even on social media today, everything is just an electric impulse transference in essence. So even just like commenting sometimes on people's posts and having them acknowledge it and give a little bit of a like back to a post that's an acknowledgement of a post necessarily is something that's actually corresponding collaborative energy. It's that simple, it's that quick, it's that immediate, it's that simple, but it's that real as well at the same time. If there's any electrical connection, if there's any electrical transmission, that's all real connection, that's all real actual collaboration in the whole world ecosystem, and that energy should be acknowledged. That energy should be acknowledged and tapped into in a more significant way. And I mean, ultimately, Change for Game Studios, Dinky Tehc and Change for Game Studios is intending to be or hoping to be like a social media platform eventually, if we can get enough of this energy, like a data platform, but at the same time, like a scientific, like all of the above, like social media. So we're combining like marketing in the finance world. In essence, that's what spiritual finance is all about. It's like combining the personal aspect of finance, like the energy, the secret energy within all people, and adding that into the finance world, and adding that into statistics and data around the whole world that's tracked and marketable and marketed to be able to be on the market as functional, just literally tracked, interesting data that can be publicized, and therefore these type of connections where we're talking about little small connections around the whole world are able to be easily data tracked and connectionified, and all these social platforms and finance platforms are basically merged to one together because they all in essence are the same energy. They're all the same energy, and we need to be able to give to each other rapidly among the whole world, give to each other rapidly among the whole world in the philanthropy energy, global giving games, philanthropy energy, global grid. Philanthropy energy, global philanthropy energy grid. The global philanthropy energy grid that connects all human beings by a symbolized ice rink in the sky as well that we call Change for Game Studios. Change for Game Studios is an ice rink in the sky that is also symbolized by a global philanthropic energy grid that connects all human beings to it. Anyways, that's all for now. Thanks again, Dinky Tehc. Bye. Peace. Bye.